Earlier this week, the EPA decided at the last minute that they were not going to send any scientists from their agency or allow any scientists from their agency to go to a climate change conference in the state of Rhode Island. Now, this is something that they had done in the past. Scott Pruitt at the last minute said, you know what, our scientists are not going to be allowed to go to this. That's the end of the story. About a week ago, story broke saying that the EPA was scrubbing the term climate change from even more government websites than it had already taken the term away from. Because earlier this year, as most people remember, Scott Pruitt came in and took the words climate change off a lot of government websites. They went through last week, tried to finish off the job. Beyond that, we also know that Scott Pruitt has spent $25,000 of taxpayer money to soundproof a room for him to meet with people so that nobody can overhear what's going on. Here's what's happening today at the Environmental Protection Agency, and it's starting to get really frustrating and angering that nobody is talking about this. There is a direct attack on science in the United States today, and it is coming from the Environmental Protection Agency itself. Their decision to not send these scientists to that conference is a direct attack on science. The American public has a right to know what's happening to our planet, to our country, to our ground, to our air, to our water. And the EPA is actively trying to prevent the American public from understanding what's happening. They're trying to prevent them from having access to the facts. That is a direct assault on science. Furthermore, a recent Government Accountability Office report shows that the United States is spending on average $35 billion every year for the last 10 years, so $350 billion total, to combat climate change-related weather events. Floods, droughts, fires, storms, and this comes at a time as our Republican-controlled Congress is actually trying to cut hurricane relief for the areas in the United States that were devastated in the last month and a half. We're not allowed to understand science. The EPA is trying to do away with science. They're trying to kick scientists off their advisory boards and replace them with industry insiders to make the decisions for the agencies. So we're not allowed to know what's happening. And then when the bad things do happen, like Hurricanes Harvey, Irma, Maria, they don't want to pay to clean it up. The costs ultimately do fall on the United States taxpayers. But again, nobody's talking about this, or at least not in any kind of meaningful way. And that is one of the main reasons why climate change in the United States still remains a political issue rather than a social issue. It is a partisan issue, and it shouldn't be. It can't be. If we want meaningful action, climate change has to be something that is accepted by both the left and the right. And among the voters, it actually is. American voters, a majority of them, regardless of party, agree it's a problem and agree the government should do something about it. It's our elected officials who have the divide. The majority of Republicans in Washington, D.C., serving in the House or Senate, deny the existence of climate change or claim that we should do absolutely nothing about the problem of climate change. And that's where we're at today. The media won't talk about it because it doesn't get big ratings. It's not sensationalistic enough. But this is, without a doubt, the most important issue facing the United States today. Why? Because it's the only issue that cannot be fixed by the next administration. Every day we lose time. We don't get that back. If the Trump administration or the Republican-controlled Congress, if they come out with a bad tax plan that tanks the economy can bounce back. We can fix that in the next administration or maybe the next 8 years. It's going to be painful and it's going to hurt and it's going to be bad, but it's fixable. If we get into a war, we're going to lose lives and it's going to be a tragedy, but we can end a war. We can't go back and fix the planet after we destroy it. You know, if the sea levels start to rise, 3, 4, 5 inches, we can't undo that in the next administration. We're talking about hundreds or possibly even longer than that years to undo the damage. Our lives, the lives of our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren will be long over before we're able to undo the damage. And that is why climate change is the most important issue. Yet for some reason, the EPA doesn't want to take it seriously anymore. The Republican Party as a whole doesn't want to take it seriously anymore. And the media could not care less that the planet is dying because of the activity of human beings. If you're thinking about subscribing to our channel, I strongly encourage you to do that. But if you're not thinking about subscribing, I would encourage you to start thinking about it, and then once you're thinking about it, actually go and do it. You can see the subscribe button right there on the screen, or if you're watching on a different platform, go to youtube.com/theringofFire.